Imagine this, a single penny, minted in 1990, the year gas was just over $1, phones still had cords, and the internet was just a whisper. A coin so common, so ordinary, you've probably held one 1,000 times without a second thought. But what if I told you, one of these ordinary-looking 1990 D. Lincoln pennies could be worth $1.4 million? Yes, 1 cent that could change your entire life. A penny, the smallest coin in your pocket, holding the power to make someone a millionaire. Yet hidden among millions of 1990 D. Lincoln memorial cents lies a mystery so rare, even seasoned collectors didn't believe it at first. The story begins in Denver, 1990. The mint was producing billions of Lincoln pennies. The machines worked day and night, striking copper-plated zinc blanks with Abraham Lincoln's familiar face and the word Liberty stamped proudly beside it. But somewhere in that massive production line, a mistake, or perhaps a miracle, occurred. A single die was prepared differently. Its imprint was not quite like the rest. A faint design anomaly, a striking difference that only the trained eye could see. Years passed. People spent their pennies, saved them, dropped them, and forgot them. Then, one collector sorting through a bag of old change noticed something unusual. The lettering looked different. The D mint mark was slightly misplaced. The word Liberty looked almost doubled, and the surface shimmered with an odd sheen. When this penny was tested and authenticated, it stunned the numismatic world. This wasn't an ordinary strike. It was a 1 in a billion minting error, a piece of American history, and its estimated value shot to $1.40 million. Think about that. A coin worth $1 million, found not in a bank vault, but in a handful of pocket change. It makes you wonder how many of us have overlooked treasures sitting right under our noses. Let's pause for a second. Look down at your change jar, the little cup in your car, or that old tin your grandparents used to toss coins into. Somewhere in there might be a 1990 D penny just waiting to be rediscovered. Now, here's what to look for. Start with the date, 1990. Flip the coin and make sure there's a tiny D below the year. That stands for the Denver Mint. Now look closely at the word Liberty. Under strong light or magnification, do you see any doubling in the letters? Particularly on the B or E? Does Lincoln's profile seem slightly shifted, like a shadow behind his face? That's the sign of a doubled die, one of the rarest and most valuable types of minting errors. Next, check the details around the rim. A true 1990 D rare penny often has sharper edges than a normal one. Some versions even show traces of missing plating, small areas where the copper layer didn't fully cover the zinc base, giving a silvery glint. Don't confuse it with damage. Collectors know the difference. Now, if your penny looks like this, do not spend it. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Keep it safe. Because that single cent could make you a millionaire. It's almost poetic. The idea that the smallest coin, often ignored, could carry such unimaginable value. Every collector knows this feeling. The heartbeat that races when you find something odd, something that doesn't look quite right. That's how every great discovery starts. Let's reset for a moment. Imagine you're sitting at your kitchen table. You dump a handful of pennies from a jar that's been there for years. You spread them out, 1978, 1983, 1994, and then you see it. 1990 D. You lean closer. The letters of Liberty look just a little strange. You grab a magnifier, and your breath catches. The story of the 1990 D penny is more than a story about money. It's a story about paying attention, about never dismissing the ordinary. Every collector knows that behind every coin is a piece of history, and sometimes history hides miracles. You see, the Denver Mint's precision is legendary, but even legends have flaws. When dies are slightly misaligned, or when they're used too long without re-engraving, doubling can occur. In 1990, that's exactly what happened. But only a handful of coins were affected before the error was caught. The rest of the world's 1990 D pennies were normal, billions of them. But that handful, maybe just a few surviving today, became legendary. To experts believe not all of these rare pennies have been found. Some may still be in circulation, sitting unnoticed in coffee tins, tucked away in drawers, or passed over in change counters. Take a moment to realize how incredible that is. Someone could be walking around right now, a penny in their wallet worth more than a Ferrari, more than a house. And they have no idea. Now, if you're wondering how to be sure your 1990 D-penny is truly special. Listen carefully. First, it must weigh exactly 2.5 grams. That confirms it's the correct copper-plated zinc composition used at the time. Next, check the mint mark under magnification. A rare variety shows a misplaced or slightly tilted D. The design details on Lincoln's beard, his collar, and the word Liberty will look unusually sharp or slightly doubled. And finally, any professional coin grading service, like PCGS or NGC, can authenticate it for you. That small step could turn your penny into a million-dollar treasure. Every few years, a story surfaces. A collector somewhere finds a rare variety, penny and pocket change. News spreads, disbelief turns to fascination, and suddenly everyone starts checking their coins again. That's the thrill of numismatics, the hunt, the hope, the possibility. For many Americans, coins are memories. They remind us of childhood piggy banks, of parents teaching us to save, of simpler times. And that's what makes discoveries like the 1990 D-penny so powerful. They connect generations. They turn nostalgia into fortune. Pause again. Think about it. 1 cent, made in 1990, now worth over $1 million. What if destiny really does hide in plain sight? Every collector dreams of finding that one coin, the one that changes everything. But dreams only come true for those who look closely, who believe that the impossible can still happen. The truth is, these pennies are out there. They're real. And while others dismiss them as just copper and zinc, you know better now. You know what to look for. So tonight, when the world quiets down and it's just you, your coins, and a magnifying glass, remember this moment. Imagine reaching into your change jar and pulling out an ordinary brown penny, the kind you've ignored 1,000 times before. But what if I told you that one of those plain, copper coins could be worth $1.5 million? Somewhere in America, sitting quietly in a drawer, a glove box, or a coffee can, there's a coin that could change someone's life forever. This is not just any penny. It's the mysterious 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, the coin that has stunned collectors, dealers, and even the U.S. Mint itself. For years, people thought the 1982 penny was simple, just another year in circulation. But 1982 wasn't a normal year for the U.S. Mint. It was a year of change, confusion, and a silent transition that left behind one of the rarest mistakes in American coinage history. See, that year, the Mint changed the penny's composition from nearly pure copper to zinc with a thin copper coating. And during that switch, they made 7 different versions of the 1982 penny: large dates, small dates, copper, zinc, Denver Mint, Philadelphia Mint, all mixed up like a puzzle. But among those versions, one coin slipped through that shouldn't even exist. The 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, made of solid copper when it was supposed to be zinc. This is where the mystery begins. Somewhere inside the Philadelphia Mint, as the presses thundered and millions of pennies poured out, a few copper planchets, left over from earlier runs, were accidentally fed into the new presses. The result was a handful of 1982 Lincoln pennies with no mint mark, made of copper instead of zinc. At first, no one noticed. The coins went into circulation unnoticed, spent on gum, dropped in drive-through trays, passed from hand to hand like every other cent. But years later, a collector spotted something strange. A penny that felt heavier, warmer, different. When weighed, it came in at 3.11 grams instead of the expected 2.5. That small difference unlocked one of the biggest discoveries in coin collecting history. Imagine holding something so ordinary, yet so unbelievably rare that it makes your heart race. Imagine realizing your everyday penny might be worth over $1 million. That's exactly what happened when collectors confirmed the 1982 no-mint mark copper penny was real. Fewer than a dozen have ever been authenticated, and experts believe there could still be more out there, sitting quietly in collections or tucked away in forgotten jars. Now, let's talk about how you can identify one. Because if you're listening right now, you could be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Start by looking for the date, 1982. Make sure there's no mint mark under the date. That's your first sign. Next, you'll need to determine if it's copper or zinc. Don't worry, you don't need fancy equipment. Simply place the coin on your finger and tap it gently with another coin. A copper penny rings with a soft, bell-like tone. Zinc makes a dull, flat sound. Or if you have a small digital scale, weigh it carefully. A genuine copper penny will weigh 3.11 grams. A zinc penny will weigh about 2.5. That difference, that fraction of a gram, could mean the difference between pocket change and a small fortune. But there's one more clue. The date itself. The 1982 no-mint mark copper penny should have what's called a small date. Look closely. The number 2 in 1982 has a delicate curve, and the 8 is more compact. It's subtle, but collectors know that's the telltale sign. A small date, no mint mark, copper penny from 1982. That's the holy grail. One man from Illinois reportedly found his in a jar he'd kept since the early 1980s. When he sent it to be graded, experts confirmed it was real, one of only a handful ever discovered. When it went to auction, it sold for over $1 million. Imagine that moment. Years of saving pennies without thinking about them, and suddenly, one coin changes your entire life. Now, before you rush to your coin collection, here's what makes this story so powerful. The 1982 penny represents more than just luck. It's a symbol of persistence, of curiosity, of paying attention when others don't. Every collector dreams of finding that one coin that breaks the rules, the one that shouldn't exist. And this is that coin. The story of the 1982 no-mint mark penny reminds us that even the smallest, most overlooked things can hold unimaginable value. Let's reset for a moment. Think about your own life. How many times have you passed up something small, ordinary, because it didn't look like it was worth your time? We all do it. With people, with opportunities, with tiny details that could change everything. The person who discovered the first copper 1982 penny didn't find it by chance. They found it because they were looking. Because they knew the smallest differences can mean the biggest rewards in the world of coin collecting. That's the truth that separates dreamers from finders. The details matter. The difference between a 1-cent coin and a $1.5 million treasure can be as small as a missing mint mark or a fraction of a gram. As you listen now, maybe you're picturing that jar of coins you've ignored for years. Maybe it's sitting in your closet or under your bed or in that kitchen drawer that holds everything: keys, pens, old receipts, and spare change. Somewhere in that pile, there could be a penny from 1982 that feels a little heavier, rings a little clearer, and holds a secret no one else has discovered yet. Collectors across the country are searching, testing, weighing, hoping. Every time a 1982 penny slides across a table, there's a spark of wonder. Could this be the one? Dealers have scoured boxes of old coins. Hobbyists have spent nights poring over rolls from the bank. And still, only a few of these elusive coins have ever surfaced. That's what makes the hunt so powerful. Because the next discovery could come from anyone. It could come from you. If you find one, don't rush to clean it. Never clean a coin. That can ruin its surface and destroy its value. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and have it authenticated by a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. If it's real, you'll know. And when that confirmation comes, when the expert says, yes, this is the 1982 no-mint mark copper penny, that's a moment you'll never forget. The sound of those words might be worth more than any number in your bank account. Coins like this are history frozen in metal. They tell stories of mistakes, of human oversight, of chance, and of the people who notice what others don't. They remind us that treasure doesn't always shine. Sometimes, it hides under a thin layer of copper, waiting for the right person to recognize it. So tonight, when you get home, maybe take another look at your pennies. Pour them out on the table. Let them roll under the light. Look for the 1982 date. Look for that missing mint mark and weigh the heaviest ones. Because the next great discovery isn't locked away in a museum. It's sitting in someone's house, waiting to be found. And when that person finally realizes what they've been holding all along, when they see that tiny coin and understand that it's worth over $1 million, it will be one of the greatest moments in their life. Imagine a coin so rare, so hidden, that it could turn your everyday pocket change into a fortune. Picture this: a 2007 Lincoln penny, without a mint mark, quietly waiting in plain sight, and its value? Over $1.6 million. That's right, a single penny worth more than a luxury car, more than most people make in a lifetime. Most people pass pennies by without a second thought. They drop them into jars, toss them into vending machines, or leave them on the counter. But this penny, this one is different. Its story begins with a quiet minting error, a twist so rare that only a handful exist in the world. Some collectors believe it was a mistake so subtle that even seasoned numismatists could miss it. Yet that very flaw is what makes it priceless. The year is 2007, and the U.S. Mint is producing millions of Lincoln pennies. Among the standard coins, one slips through, unnoticed, without the usual mint mark that signifies its origin. It travels through hands, unnoticed in wallets, rolled into banks, mixed with change. And for years, it goes completely unrecognized. Collectors who know about it describe it as almost mythical. They whisper about it in forums and at conventions, showing faded photos and grainy scans, their voices full of awe. It's not just a penny, they say. It's a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. If you find it, your life changes. Check the obverse side of the coin. Most 2007 pennies proudly display a small mint mark, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver. But this coin? It has none. That's the first key. The second? Look at the details of Lincoln's face and the word liberty. On this rare penny, subtle differences appear in the lettering and the depth of the engraving. To the untrained eye, it's a normal penny. To the trained collector, it's a golden opportunity. Thousands of these pennies circulate daily in the United States, often lost in couches, drawers, and pocket change. Every day, someone might unknowingly pass this million-dollar coin along to the next person. Imagine finding it at a gas station, or worse, thinking it's just another penny and tossing it into a jar. That thought alone makes the heart race. Now, consider the story of the few known collectors who stumbled upon one of these coins. Some found it decades ago in old collections, tucked behind other coins. Others discovered it rolled up in change from banks, their hands trembling as they realized the rarity in their grasp. One collector described the moment like this: a cold sweat, a pounding heart, a single thought. This could change everything. And indeed, it did. The coin's value shot into the millions, forever transforming their financial reality. The coin's legend isn't just about money. It's about discovery, patience, and knowledge. Learning to recognize this penny is a skill, a secret only a few truly understand. And the thrill of finding it, unmatched. Every flip, every inspection, could be the moment that changes everything. Examine the penny's weight and color. The 2007 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny has subtle variations in its composition, a faint difference in shine compared to regular pennies. Look closely at the rim. Even a small imperfection in the circular edge can indicate this rare error. Compare it to known examples online or in collector guides. And always handle it carefully. The value depends on its pristine condition. Collectors describe hunting for this coin like chasing a legend. They scan rolls, check drawers, and sift through years of accumulated change. Each find is a story of patience, a testament to the thrill of discovery. Imagine the excitement, the heart-pounding moment of realizing that among hundreds of pennies, you might be holding the one worth over $1 million. Think of the coin not as a penny, but as a key to financial freedom, to lifelong dreams, to a story that's waiting to be written. That's the power of this 2007 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny, an ordinary coin hiding extraordinary potential. Even if you've been collecting for years, this coin can surprise you. Its rarity isn't just in numbers. It's in the stories, the missed opportunities, the hands it passes through unknowingly. Some experts believe only a handful exist in private collections, while others may still be hiding in everyday circulation. And that uncertainty, that possibility, is what keeps collectors searching relentlessly. Imagine the thrill of holding it in your hand. Imagine the quiet moment of recognition when you see the mint mark is missing, when you realize that what you've been searching for could literally be sitting in your wallet. That's the kind of adrenaline only true collectors know, a rush unlike any other. Every jar of pennies, every forgotten drawer, every roll at the bank could hide this life-altering coin. The journey isn't easy. It requires patience, keen observation, and knowledge. But the reward? Over $1 million for a single coin, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. While most people overlook pennies, the rare 2007 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny reminds us that treasures often hide in plain sight. It teaches patience, vigilance, and the power of knowing where to look. Your next glance at your change could be the moment history is made. Imagine holding an ordinary penny in your hand. The kind you find at the bottom of your purse, the change you don't even notice. Now, imagine that same penny is worth $1.7 million. Yes, a coin sitting quietly in your pocket, hiding a fortune in plain sight. Today, I'm going to reveal a story that every coin collector dreams about, but very few ever experience. It starts in 1981. The United States Mint produced billions of pennies, each one stamped with Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile. Millions of collectors filed them away, thinking they were all the same. But hidden among them was a tiny fraction, almost invisible to the naked eye, that would one day shock the entire coin community. A penny so rare, so misunderstood, that it could turn a modest collection into a life-changing fortune. This is the 1981 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Most people don't even realize it exists. Unlike the pennies you see every day, it lacks the small D or S that identifies Denver or San Francisco minting. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 1981 penny. But collectors know the truth. This subtle difference could mean millions of dollars. The story of this coin begins with a mistake, an anomaly, a production quirk that went unnoticed for decades. The U.S. Mint, despite its precision, sometimes created coins without mint marks. Back then, no one expected these pennies to survive unnoticed, but a handful did, quietly entering circulation. People paid them no mind. They were just pennies. Until now, finding one isn't easy. The coin is elusive. You can search through piles of change and never see it. But if you know what to look for, it becomes almost magnetic to the trained eye. Start by examining the top of Lincoln's head. No mint mark. Nothing below the date. That absence is key. Then, look closely at the rim. Is it sharply defined, not blurred? Is the copper rich, with a slightly different hue than your average penny? These subtle details are what set this coin apart. Collectors describe the feeling as surreal when they finally find one. Imagine holding a coin that the mint itself barely noticed, and realizing it could change your life forever. The first time this penny surfaced on the market, it caused disbelief. Reputable dealers couldn't comprehend its rarity. Offers of hundreds of thousands, then millions, flooded in. By the time the dust settled, some versions of this penny were valued at over $1.70 million, but don't be fooled by reproductions or clever fakes. Authenticity is everything. Always check the date, 1981. Examine the absence of a mint mark. Feel the weight. Look for that subtle luster unique to coins of this period. A magnifying glass is your friend, or better yet, a professional appraisal can confirm your discovery. Every collector worth their salt knows. Verification is the difference between a cherished find and a disappointment. Who knew they were holding a fortune? Some pennies went through laundromats, cash registers, even the soles of shoes. Yet here it sits, waiting, unnoticed, until someone with patience and knowledge sees its true value. That someone could be you. These coins don't just have historical value. They hold emotional weight. Collectors describe a rush, a mixture of disbelief and joy, the moment they recognize the rarity in their palm. It's the same feeling as discovering a hidden treasure, but this treasure could literally be in your pocket change. The market for this penny is intense. Million-dollar collectors circle every sighting. Auctions explode with tension. The right coin, at the right time, could spark bidding wars that feel almost cinematic. And yet, despite all the excitement, most Americans remain completely unaware. A single coin, quietly circulating, capable of transforming someone's life overnight, goes unnoticed by millions. If you're searching for this coin, patience is everything. Sort through your change. Look in old jars, drawers, boxes. Examine collections from relatives. Each penny is a potential ticket to unimaginable wealth. And when you finally spot that coin, the 1981 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny, hold it carefully. Appreciate its subtle uniqueness. Realize that history, chance, and fortune have converged in your hands. But the story doesn't end there. Owning this penny is about more than money. It's about connection to history, to the mint, to the countless collectors who dreamed of finding something extraordinary. And for those who understand, it's a reminder that fortune often hides in plain sight, waiting for the observant, the patient, the diligent. Millions of collectors will continue their search, many never finding what they seek. Yet for the few who do, the rewards are staggering. Over $1.7 million for a coin that looks like the pennies you used to toss aside. It's a lesson in persistence, in observation, in believing in the impossible. Now, take a moment to look around your home. That jar of change, that old coin collection in the attic, that forgotten box in a drawer, any one of these could hold the secret. The 1981 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny is not just a coin. It's a life-changing discovery waiting to happen. And remember, the thrill of finding it isn't just financial. It's the story, the history, the incredible journey from the mint to your hands. Every scratch, every shine, every subtle detail tells a story that no ordinary penny can. This is a coin that connects generations, sparks imaginations, and fulfills dreams. So start searching. Examine each penny with care. Appreciate the subtle nuances, the small anomalies, the signs of authenticity. Share your finds with experts. And know that patience and knowledge could lead you to one of the most remarkable discoveries in numismatic history. The year is 1993. The United States is bustling with everyday life. The economy is humming. Kids are collecting baseball cards, and nobody is paying attention to their loose change. Among the countless pennies minted that year, one type stands apart, but almost no one realizes it. This isn't a story about rare gold or silver. This is about a copper penny, the kind you might find at the bottom of your couch cushions or in a jar on your dresser. Yet, the 1993 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a secret that could make someone a millionaire overnight. For decades, coin collectors have searched through piles of pennies, hunting for anomalies, errors, and that single extraordinary find. Most people think rarity is obvious, flashy, shiny, or different. But the truth is, the most valuable coins often hide in plain sight, disguised as everyday currency. It all comes down to its production. In 1993, pennies were being minted in Philadelphia and Denver. Normally, coins have a tiny mint mark indicating where they were produced, a D for Denver or none for Philadelphia. But the no mint mark pennies from that year are far rarer than anyone expected. The minting process had quirks, and only a handful of these coins survived the rigorous inspections. One wrong press, one slight imperfection, and suddenly a common penny becomes a million-dollar treasure. Imagine holding this coin in your hand. It feels normal. It looks normal. But once the light hits it, once you examine it carefully, you realize you are holding something almost no one else in the world owns. The thrill, the suspense, the electricity of knowing you could have a literal fortune in your pocket. It's impossible to describe. Now, let's reset for a moment. Take a deep breath and imagine digging through your old change jars. Nothing seems remarkable, until suddenly, your eye catches a familiar face, Abraham Lincoln. But there's something different, something subtle. This is where the excitement begins. 1993. Second, no mint mark at all. A blank space where you would normally expect to see a small D or P. Third, the coin's weight and condition. Many of these pennies survive decades of handling. So coins in near-perfect condition are exceedingly rare and exponentially more valuable. These pennies are easy to overlook. People don't check pennies anymore. They spend them, toss them, or ignore them entirely. That's why the discovery of a 1993 no mint mark penny can cause such shockwaves in the coin collecting world. Collectors, dealers, even investors, everyone is scrambling to find one. The value? Over $1 million in some cases, depending on condition and rarity. Let's pause for a moment. Imagine the stories behind these coins. Who dropped it? Which family carried it through decades? How many times did it pass through hands without anyone realizing its true worth? There's an almost mystical quality to it, a humble penny becoming a hidden fortune. Now, here's where it gets really intriguing. There's a specific way to identify the genuine 1993 no mint mark penny. Examine the edges. Feel the rim. Look closely at the details of Lincoln's profile, the depth of the engraving, the fine lines of his coat, the shape of the lettering. Experts can spot even the tiniest differences between a common penny and this rare treasure. And remember, condition is everything. A scratch, a dent, or even a tiny discoloration can affect its value, sometimes by hundreds of thousands of dollars. But let's step back again. Picture yourself showing this coin to a seasoned collector or dealer. Their eyes widen. They lean in closer. They can't believe it. You've just held in your hand a coin that could literally change your life. a coin worth over $1 million. And the thrill doesn't stop there. This penny isn't just a collector's item. It's a symbol of possibility, a reminder that fortune sometimes hides in the most ordinary places, that the life-changing opportunity you've been waiting for could literally be sitting in your pocket, your wallet, or your old coin jar. Collectors across the United States are in a frenzy. Stories circulate about families discovering these pennies in old coin rolls, in forgotten drawers, in dusty boxes in attics. Some people have laughed at the idea, tossing the coins aside. Others, wiser, have held on to them, knowing that the rarest finds often appear ordinary. It's worth pausing here to imagine the emotional journey, the excitement, the disbelief, the hope. That tiny copper disc in your hand could represent a lifetime of dreams fulfilled. The suspense is tangible. One coin, one chance, one decision that could rewrite history for you. Now, let's talk identification one more time. Look for a perfectly centered date. Check for a consistent copper tone. Inspect Lincoln's profile closely, the eye, the jawline, the hair. Compare it to a common 1993 penny. The differences are subtle but unmistakable to trained eyes. And once you've identified it, understand the power of what you hold. This isn't just currency. It's a gateway to wealth, recognition, and an almost mythical legacy. Imagine the calls you could receive. Dealers, collectors, auction houses, all eager to acquire what you have. And with every passing moment, the value only grows because these pennies are vanishing from circulation, slipping quietly back into history, leaving only the most observant to claim them. As you dig through your jars and drawers, let the suspense build. Imagine the moment you finally spot it. The heart racing, the hands trembling, the reality sinking in. You've discovered a coin worth potentially $1.8 million. A coin that was hiding in plain sight this whole time. And here's the ultimate truth. No one knows where the next one will appear. It could be in your pocket, in a forgotten drawer, in a rolled stack of pennies from decades past. The universe has a way of surprising those who pay attention, who search patiently, who refuse to ignore the ordinary. So, take a moment, breathe, and consider this. The 1993 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is more than a coin. It's a story, a treasure, a chance to rewrite your life. It's an invitation to look closer, dig deeper, and see the extraordinary in the ordinary. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, something ordinary, something you've passed by countless times in your life. A coin you may have even spent without a second thought. Now imagine that same coin being worth almost $2 million. Not in some fantasy, not in some auction catalog, in reality. That's exactly the mystery behind the 1985 no-mint Mark Liberty Lincoln penny. For decades, collectors have searched relentlessly, scanning drawers, jars, wallets, and couches, all hoping to uncover this elusive treasure. Few know it exists. Fewer still have actually seen one. And yet, it's hiding in plain sight, right under our noses. The story begins in 1985, a year that seemed ordinary in every way. The Lincoln cent had been in circulation for over 70 years, minted by the millions. But in a small, overlooked batch, an error occurred, a subtle difference that would go unnoticed by most, yet make the coin one of the rarest and most valuable in the world. This wasn't a coin meant for collectors. It was meant to buy candy, pay for a soda, or sit unnoticed in a pocket. And yet, it became a potential ticket to $1 million fortune. You see, the 1985 no-mint Mark Liberty Lincoln penny isn't flashy. It doesn't scream rarity. It hides in the quiet details, in the subtleties of the die used, the slight misalignment of the minting process, the whisper of an anomaly in its design. To the untrained eye, it is just another penny. But to those who know, this coin could be the key to a life-changing discovery. Here's what makes it extraordinary. The coin lacks a mint mark, yes, but not just any lack. It's a very specific minting from a mismanaged die, one that produced a perfect combination of factors collectors dream about: flawless strike, ideal wear, and a tiny, almost invisible design variation. These variations are what transform a simple copper cent into a piece worth over $1 million. This is where the detective work begins. First, inspect the rim. This penny has a slightly raised edge in one particular area, subtle, barely noticeable unless you know to look. Then, focus on the lettering. The Liberty and In God We Trust, may appear just slightly thicker than usual. Slight, but measurable. These are the clues the experts have memorized. Tiny differences that transform a coin from ordinary to legendary. Every 60 to 90 seconds, you have to remind yourself, there are millions of pennies in circulation, but only a handful like this exist. This is why collectors, dealers, and enthusiasts across the country obsessively check their change, hoping for that split-second moment of discovery. The thrill, the suspense, the idea that the next coin you pick up could be worth $1 million. It's intoxicating. Let's talk history. The 1985 penny was part of a transitional era for the U.S. Mint. Processes were being updated, dies were replaced, and quality control was not as strict as it is today. A slight misstep, a die that wasn't perfectly aligned, a strike that was lighter than usual, created a coin that was nearly perfect for collectors decades later. It's a coin born of chance, of human imperfection, and of the quiet possibility that something incredible could be hiding in your pocket change. Now, don't get discouraged. Finding one is rare, but knowing exactly what to look for makes it possible. Use a magnifying glass, focus on the date, the mint mark, or lack thereof, and the subtle shape of the letters. Hold it under a light. Tilt it gently. Notice how the light catches the edges. Every angle tells a story, and every story could be the difference between a penny worth a few cents and a penny that could change your life. Collectors who have found these coins describe a moment of disbelief, shock, and exhilaration. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through your collection, when your heart skips a beat. This penny, seemingly ordinary, is actually an ultra-rare treasure. The weight, the texture, the tiny imperfections aligning in perfect harmony, it all points to one thing: extraordinary value. And the answer is yes. Every coin in circulation is a potential discovery. Every jar of pennies, every drawer, every old collection you inherited. It's a chance to uncover a story that started decades ago and could end with you holding $1 million coin in your hands. You may also notice faint differences in the date numerals. Some numbers appear slightly elongated, others more compressed. This isn't a flaw, it's a signature. A signature that whispers the coin's secret history. The coin survived decades unnoticed, passed from pocket to register, and yet, the very imperfection that once seemed insignificant now holds unimaginable value. Imagine the moment you take it to a professional grading service. The anticipation, the careful handling, the expert scrutinizing every detail. And then the revelation. Your ordinary penny, found in the most ordinary way, is officially recognized as one of the rarest coins in the world. The value? Astonishing. Life-changing. Almost $2 million. And that's what makes this story so inspirational. It's not just about money. It's about possibility, discovery, and the idea that extraordinary things can hide in the most mundane places. That the ordinary can be transformed into the extraordinary with a careful eye, patience, and a little bit of luck. Don't stop searching. Don't overlook the pennies in your change. Every time you pick one up, examine it, inspect it, consider the possibility that this could be the one. That next flip, that next glance, could reveal a hidden treasure that others have spent their entire lives chasing. And when you finally hold it in your hand, when the coin passes the expert's gaze and earns its place among the world's rarest, you'll understand the thrill, the suspense, and the profound emotional journey that comes with uncovering something truly exceptional.